That's like some cooler kind of music this week, Joe. Eh? Not like it's like a ooh, ah, ah, ooh, ooh. No. There's like noises in there to keep you entertained, man.
Yes, very nice.
Yes, very nice. I thought it would be nice for a slight kind of shift up. Not much of a change, but it is Anything Goes Sunday. Yes, how's it going, gents? Scott Lopez.
Going. What the hell happened to Scotty? It looks like somebody is operating outside the Matrix tonight.
Are you entering the Matrix or are you coming back out? Have you got stuck where there's no telephones?
It looks like he's at the door.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I was on the KBS show not too long ago, and I was mentioning to Kev how I'm able to dual boot into Windows and Linux at will. And he asked me, he said, you're literally in the Matrix, aren't you? And so, the mask has come off. I had to make the big reveal tonight. Yes, that's right, people. I really am in the Matrix. And
we've got Kristen in the chat room who has rightly named Joe Joseph as SpongeBob Joe. Yes, we like SpongeBob Joe. SpongeBob Joe.
That's an amazing thing that you've I am a big fan of SpongeBob. Always have been.
Yeah.
By virtue of my kids and everything else, but yeah, then the whole Patrick Star thing came about, and now I've got a friend.
What's so disturbing about that photo is that Kev photoshopped like my eyes down to my nose, but he left Patrick's mouth.
Yeah,
I know.
We'll get a good look at it.
So disturbing.
It's very disturbing.
You look
very
even,
disturbing.
You look even worse.
And look at, he kept Patrick's eyebrows too.
No. I had to draw eyebrows on because
you drew eyebrows.
Something about Scott's eyebrows made it look really, really sinister. And then I took the eyebrows totally off.
He's got sinister eyebrows.
Yeah, I took the eyebrows totally off, and then it just looked like a face on a penis. So I decided I needed to put some black eyeliner. I don't even know, is it black? Is it eyeliner? And what do you put on your eyebrows? Is it eyeliner? Do you put anything on your eyebrows? I don't know. I don't wear makeup, so I don't know. But yeah, he was disturbing, dude.
Wow.
Truly.
Well, not anymore. Not anymore. Now, I mean, this is family entertainment. The Sunday stream. I mean, if that isn't evidence enough that this is family entertainment, I don't know what is.
It's Anything Goes Sunday, and I want everyone to bang that like button, hit share as well. We keep on kind of leveling out at 200, and I remember we had 300 on the stream at one point. Maybe we need to pick some really snappy, clickbaity titles to bait people in the door, guys. Maybe that's what it is.
I think that's the problem.
Do you think that's what we're doing wrong?
We're not clickbaity enough.
Do we need to go more clickbaity?
We're not triggering the algorithm as much as we should be.
No.
Yeah, maybe we do need to be a little more clickbaity.
So talking of not triggering the algorithm, Scott, how's the ground events happening over in California right now? I've seen a big ground event over in Indonesia today, a 7.1. I was thinking to myself, dang. That place is fairly rattling and rolling, dude.
That makes 7.0 earthquakes within the past week, and usually don't even see that within an entire month. So there's definitely a lot of unrest going on and a lot of activity. Oh my God, Joe!
Oh my God!
Over here in Indonesia, you see, it is. There's no problems. Nobody. 7.1 bounces right off.
Look at that! You even talk without moving your lips. That's really cool, right. Joe.
We do the old martial arts of old, so that's what we do. No.
He looks like one of these Instagram thoughts, doesn't he?
I am. I'm one of those Instagram.
Not so hot right enough, but maybe just an Instagram something.
Yeah.
You just give us the face, Joe. You got to give us the face while you're doing that.
No, Joe.
That's all done.
Your AI sucks. The AI in your camera software sucks, dude. Done it. It's not good, man.
No, well, it's kind of primitive.
You think?
Judging by what it looks like, yeah.
Yeah. What is it, like 6 versions behind Scott's?
Yeah, so in here in Indonesia. Oh, look at me behind me. I've got Indonesian building. Yeah.
What ethnicity are you there? I'm trying to figure out what the heck you are, dude.
I am a trans Chinese. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Josephine. Not good. Not a good look.
Not
Not a good
at all.
look.
No, we won't do that again.
So anyway, back to the ground events as we call them here on the Kev Baker show. Is that like the American one? Now remember Dutch was saying we needed to watch for a big one somewhere else, Scott. Is that them dodged the bullet now? Is the big one gone? Joe's
no,
talking to
we're
himself.
still.
Look at him, he's talking to himself. Look.
No, the brain's talking to me, so I apologize.
Excellent. I like it when you channel the brain.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, we're still watching for a potentially, the potential of another significant quake happening.
Ground event.
Ground event. Yeah, ground event. Another significant. And we had a couple of ground events occur in Oklahoma. I think just within the past day or so, 3.0s, but nothing large enough to really suggest that energy is transferring east like we're supposed to be looking for, supposedly. And so all of that area in California is still under a lot of pressure, and there was actually some 4.0 activity up in Alaska, which is also pushing more energy down.
Is that right?
Yep. So they're not out of the woods.
Good.
No, nobody is out of the woods yet, and yeah, we're just gonna have to see what happens.
And you know what that means, Kev? I'll tell you what that means.
What does it mean, Joe?
That means that Yellowstone's going to explode.
Do you think so? I mean, anytime you
I
think
mean, why
of...
not? I mean, now, because look, you said yourself that you've seen 300 on the stream before, but we need something a little more clickbaity.
Yeah, you see, you need to tell me...
I can't think of much more clickbaity than, we've got all this activity going on down in the southwestern United States. Why not throw Yellowstone into the mix? Ooga booga, ooga booga.
And why not? Why don't we put it down to the ongoing approach?
Yeah,
of
if you will.
You get it.
You know, it's only been 640,000 years, so they say, since Yellowstone exploded last. I'm thinking, we're overdue for it.
I'm thinking more of Nibiru.
They don't know what causes supervolcanoes to trigger. They really don't.
Well, there's something in the chat room says, it's Ninnerty. We are at the beginning of a great sun cycle. 5,125 years, and that's why the sun is acting weird. There's a super volcano in Italy that's really worried about. And I mean, over in Italy, you've got Etna. It erupts from time to time, guys.
Yeah, but I know what that person's talking about.
Is that tied in with like the Hebrew calendar? Because that sounds about right for the number of years. Is it anything to do with that, Joe?
I don't know. All I do know is that you can tell by the solar activity that things aren't right. You can tell by the magnetic field, because the magnetic field's strength, I think, is tied to the solar cycle and the sun, as evidence that all the other planets are acting weird too. And then it's like you say too, there's also a numerical significance to all this, not just in that number, but also, like you said, the Hebrew calendar. The Hebrew calendar, I think what's the Hebrew year? It's like 56 something or 55 something. I can't remember what it is. I'll look it up. But there's one thing Jews are good at. It's keeping numbers, right? And keeping records. And it's true.
You're right.
If you look at the Torah, it hasn't changed one jot or one tittle since it was written by Moses. It's the same Torah as it was when he wrote it. So I kind of take a look at that and say, okay, if this is the year that they say it is, then I'm going to trust that that's basically when it started, And that would be like Adam. Now, that doesn't mean that we didn't have a pre-Adamite civilization. I don't know about that, but I'm saying since this incarnation of humanity, let's call it, is about, I want to say 5,600 years or something. Let me see.
Well, while you're doing that, I was just having a look to see what the latest kind of Paul Begley's making out of all this kind of stuff, guys. And well,
5779.
5779.
Yeah. So it places creation at about 3761 BC.
What, like the creation of everything?
Like Adam.
Right.
Like in the beginning, God created, blah, 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 boom, boom, there. Now, that doesn't mean that Adam was day one, because Adam came after the earth was created, right?
Yeah.
So you don't know how much time that took. I don't know how much time it took.
I bet you Paul Begley knows.
I bet you Paul Begley knows.
Well, you just knew he'd be all over the earthquakes and stuff, boys. You knew it,
but
right?
Basically, since Adam, 3761 BC. That's basically where the Hebrew calendar starts time.
So that's tied to this sun cycle thing?
I don't know. I don't know if it is.
Is
but
the sun acting wacky? I know it's going through like a solar minimum, but it does that every
minimum.
11 years.
Yeah, but again, you look at
somebody there's a chat room.
You look
again.
we'll look at the magnetic field, right? So if you look at the magnetic field, it is weak and weakening faster and more rapidly than it has since we started recording it. And you look at the Greenland ice sheet, and you can see these cycles, if you will, that look eerily similar to the solar cycles. That when the solar cycles happen, coincidentally, the Earth goes through cycles, and coincidentally, those cycles cause other cycles here on Earth. It's just amazing how everything is like bigger or smaller variations of the same thing, almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and in a way, it's a representation of like fractals, where the macro, you see the micro kind of mimicking the macro, and yeah, we go through these cycles, and I just think we're approaching one of these cycles.
Well, I'm looking here, Scott, and it says that they reckon the end date of the last one of these cycles was, get this, the 21st of December, 2012. And we always said that was a date that was just more like an indicator, didn't we? Because we've put
a marker.
Yeah, in this period kind of thing.
Or entering a new age too. If you take a look, is that when we started entering into a new age? And when that happens, what does that mean? Because I can tell you, just based on my study into astrology, not to fortune tell or anything like that, but to basically get a better understanding of people. Because if you know people's birth signs, you can kind of get an idea of what that person's tendencies will be. And it is balls on accurate with, when I tell you, you look at your birth sign, Kev, right? And you use quality, like somebody who's really good and learned into this.
Oh, you mean not a Facebook guru?
Not a Facebook or a YouTube guru. I'm talking about, you start looking. There was a site called Constellation Chamber that Ange and I really enjoyed reading. You can find it on the Wayback Machine still, but she never finished charting out all the signs. But what she did was unbelievable. And you could read the descriptions of all of these people, and it would just be spot on. And just unbelievable what kind of information you can glean about somebody just by knowing their birth sign. And how when you're born under the sign or at that time of year, you're basically, it's almost like that's the download you get, Kev. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like you get a cosmic download.
Well, talking of cosmic kind of stuff, I found this. This is quite cool. It ties in
your
with this.
operating system.
It
Yeah.
ties in with this cycle anyway. But it says here, this is quite cool, and I'll blow this up a bit so people might be able to see it. Yeah, it says entry into the new timescape has everything to do with a galactic beam, a higher frequency time wave that is emanated from the galactic core. All of history is condensed within a galactic beam that we are now passing out of. Now, this particular type is a
like it.
5,000. Well, if you think of a beam, that makes me think of like the hologram as well. You know, you're beaming information,
A
right?
beam, or
Yeah.
even more so, like a page in a book.
And
like
all
we
history, and all
talk about.
history, because remember, hologram, even the smallest part contains all of the story, even if it's like in a kind of smaller, kind of not as clear kind of picture. But it says its purpose is to accelerate human activity around the planet. The acceleration is called recorded history. Now, this 5,125 year beam is nested within a 26,000 year beam, which is nested in a 104,000 year
Yeah.
beam. And this is called
A cycle within a cycle
Yeah.
within a cycle.
and this
Yeah,
is called the
crazy.
harmonic convergence. But then this is the bit I found interesting, because if we come down here and it talks about the 13th back tune, this reminds me of getting back to the 2012 stuff now, so it does. But it says here the 12th back tomb, the back tomb of transformation of matter, and that's from 1618 to 2012, all right? And it says here the rise, or AD 1618, sorry, rise and triumph of scientific materialism, European world conquest, industrial revolution, democratic revolutions in America, Europe, colonialism in Africa, Latin America, Asia, industrialization of Japan, Karl Marx, and the rise of communism, or communism, and communist revolutions in Russia, China, World Wars I and II, atomic bomb and nuclear era, rise of the third world powers, Islam, Mexico, and India, global terrorism, and collapse of technological civilization, Earth purification, and final era of global regeneration, the information age, and crystal solar technology, galactic synchronization. Now, I know that sounds awfully woo-woo, new agey stuff, but if you take that kind of that label off it and look at it for what it is, I think we are in cycles within cycles. I don't think there's anything new agey about that, Joe.
No. I don't think so at all.
No.
As a matter of fact, what taught me that was quantum. You know how we look at particles and how they just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller, but one thing leads to another, to another, to another. And same thing, on the scale going up, that it's all these little cycles and all these little things that are all tied together, but different. It's weird. Like I said, everything is like cycles within cycles within cycles. Like the planet, then you have the solar system, then you have the galaxy,
and
then you have
everything's
the
speeding up,
universe,
and everything's speeding up. You think about like a couple of thousand years ago, you'd have had to have waited weeks, months maybe for news coming from somewhere else if you'd ever get it. Now compare that to today. You wait seconds, and it's the same with technology. You know, technology moved really slowly, and then the Industrial Revolution came along.
Right, think about that.
Yeah.
5,000 years, Kev. 5,000, almost 6,000 years. Horse was the primary mode of travel, and it was only the last 100 years that's been.
If you think about that 5,000 years like that, it's only that we've had technology for.
Well, that we know of, right?
Yeah,
because then
before the last cycle.
Right? So there was the flood, and who knows what kind of technology got wiped out by the flood.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So who knows what happened there, but I can tell you that it happened for a reason, a secular reason too, not only that, but now we're coming up against another almost cycle, and here it is, and destruction's coming.
You know, it's quite weird. What's quite weird is the language in there. And I know this is just one website, Scott, but it talks about this global regeneration, purification. You know, you take down the shields, the old magnetic field, and that'll get a bit of purifying going on, Scotty boy. That'll sure regenerate shit down here, right?
Yeah, and we also talk about the solar system moving into an area of the galaxy that may have increased, whatever.
Exactly, Scott. We don't know.
Crossing the galactic plane of the center of the galaxy.
Yeah, we're talking about forces and physics that we've got no comprehension of, Scott.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many variables in play that, it's like Joe always says, you might be looking for something to happen over here, and then boom, it's something completely out of left field that you had no idea.
Absolutely.
That's a good example would be everybody's like probably waiting for the 9.0, the big one to hit because, earthquakes, the ground events have been
ground events, Scott.
Yes, the ground events have been happening lately, and watch, like, we're gonna have like a giant like meteor strike or something like that.
Somebody in the chat.
Thank you very much. That's exactly what happens. Or the moon's gonna orbit's gonna shift, and it's gonna be like a 2-mile high tidal wave.
Somebody in the chat room said we're getting close to Gaia TV. No, because we're not professing to be experts on any galactic waves that are coming. We're not liaising with any blue chickens, and we're just kind of, what would you say? We're just kind of trying to make sense of stuff that we probably can't ever make sense of because it's just way, way, way beyond our level of thinking, boys. But I'm quite offended. Gaia TV.
I mean, we go through these cycles. I mean, we go through these cycles of destruction and regeneration and destruction again and regeneration, and it's happened before, and that's why we always talk about, how many times has humanity been reset? How many times have we saw these like civilizations rise and reach
at
like
least
this
two that we know of, right?
Reach this pinnacle of technological advancement, and then boom, it just.
What was that book you were reading again today, or looking into, Kev? The Mahabharata.
The Mahabharata.
Yeah, the
That's
Mahabharata.
The one. Thank you. I can never say that one. That's unattainable.
You're talking about like a text here, like a couple of 1,000-year-old at least, and this was scientific stuff. There was weapons. That there was like they were talking about an ancient surgical text as well, and it was actually talking about plastic surgery, which they still use parts of this text, this teaching today, in plastic surgery from 1,000 years ago.
But that's my point, is that there obviously was technology of some sort that due to the fact that we've been taught that, basically everything from, the Middle Ages and Dark Ages on back was brass hammers and saws and, rudimentary tools. And that's just not the case. It's not the case. And the second thing is it's absolutely ridiculous for us to be talking first contact when history tells us that contact was the normal way of things up until the flood, and then everything went dark.
Look at how many times humanity supposedly interfaced with, the gods, quote unquote.
Exactly.
And all of the interaction that was taking place back then, that was documented in the texts that we reread now, the ancient texts. So that just shows that there was this contact,
it was normal.
Yeah.
And it was, yes, like you said, it was normal. It was just par for the course. It was just an everyday sort of thing.
So that's it kind of baffles me, Scotty, that we talk first contact when in fact we've had plenty of contact. I don't know why people think that that's so crazy. You know what I mean? It was the norm. Just because it's not the norm for us or this era doesn't mean that it hasn't been, We
should call it contact.
Thank you. That would be much better. I like that. That's more politically correct.
Yes. Recon.
I like that. But, I was also taking a little look to see what Mr. Begley had been putting down all this unrest to. You know, he
Oh,
would have
no.
a unique take on all of this, boys.
You know, I see none of his. I get no feeds, nothing.
Neither do I.
from
I've got
him.
to go looking for it now. It's absolutely fantastic. If you're on
Oh,
Subtum,
me
you don't
too.
get it.
Me too.
But
It's
you
absolute
ready? You ready?
beauty.
Are you
Go ahead.
ready? Seriously? The blood moon is rising? 12 hours ago? The time has come again. The time has come again.
Are you serious?
That's what I'm serious, dude. Look, there you go.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me pull this up so I can see it. Hold
yeah,
on.
blood moon
Hold on.
rising 12 hours ago. Yeah. I'm not going to play it because
I can't, but how? How do people continue to spew that crap and
do
feel
you think we should put
remotely
breaking?
good about them? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
but do you
like
think we should put breaking in our title next time? Because it seems to work for old Begley. Breaking.
But do you see what I'm saying? It's the boy who cried wolf. I don't understand how people even remotely take him seriously anymore. How do you do that?
Because there's
I don't-
people that do want to be filled with the
No, I
scary
know
hype
that. I get
stuff,
it.
and it's just
I
the way
know, I
it is.
understand.
Was there even a blood moon recently? I know we had
Who
the
cares?
eclipse, but I know
They
we had
happen all the time.
I know we had the eclipse and things, but I mean, how the hell can you like? I don't get it. I'm not in, like.
They happen all the time. That's my thing. Is like, is it because people are that naive? I don't say that. I don't say that in any sort of derogatory way. I don't. I just don't understand. If I can understand why at first you might think that kind of stuff, and it's okay because we all go through it. But
Oh yeah, dude.
But then you come to the realization, wow, this is normal actually, and it happens all the time, and it's nothing to get worked up about, and that's not what the scriptures say or anything says. Or
Are we like
So-
veterans of the truth war, Joe? Are we
I
like?
guess, but
Yeah.
my thing is once you do that and you figure it out, you don't keep peddling that stuff. You look ridiculous. So how do people still find that even remotely informative? That's my question. I just don't understand.
I'm the same as you. I'm in exactly the same place, Joe. I don't know either, dude. I don't know. What about you, Scott? Is it something inbuilt into us that we like to like get smoke blowed up our ass and lie to the shit scared out of us?
I don't know, because I'm not wired that way. So it's hard for me to understand how somebody, it's hard for me to understand how somebody could constantly come back to somebody who puts out these sort of doomsday predictions. And
It's tough. It's tough because the world sucks.
Yeah, they never come true. But then how is it that you can just go back to it?
Because it always gives people hope that there's an end. That's the only thing I can think of. Because honest to God, guys, I mean, look, life sucks. I know a lot of people are out there going, no, yeah, love, peace, and harmony. Focus on the light, on the positive. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that gets you but so far. It does. And then life kicks you like a mule. And it repeatedly kicks you like a mule. And again, and again, and again. And after a while, you get to feeling kind of hopeless. And when you hear things like that, you almost have a sense of, oh, justice is coming, because you just know that those that are perpetrating these ills against you will get theirs finally. But
and you also have you also have to take into effect that there's always a constant stream of new people that come across people like Begley, right? So whereas he might lose people after the first, 2 or 3 failed predictions, there's always a new person getting roped into the clickbaity headline of breaking,
crazy.
And so there's always this constant stream of traffic that that manages to work its way in there, and
everything is breaking. Everything.
Yeah, and
that's
so
going wrong.
Yeah, we need to adjust those.
So just put breaking in it. Breaking.
But you're not breaking anything. He's breaking news that's already broken on the telly. That's already broken on Twitter. You're breaking
maybe that's
nothing.
what he means. It's breaking Broken?
Broken balls, man. I'm telling you. I don't get it. I just don't get it, dude. I don't bloody get it. I really don't get it. Do you think there was a guy sitting outside the pyramids as well, like Begley, warning everyone the world's going to end? I bet there was. There's one at every age. They're everywhere.
Well, eventually, you know, you're going to be right. Eventually you will, baby.
Hey, what's going to happen? Like, can you imagine how fucking crazy it would be if Begley, like, he actually like nailed it, you know, and then nobody fucking listened to his ass, you know?
That's what's going to happen. Well, if he ever does nail it, I mean, if he ever does nail it, I'm not going to heed his warning. I'm not going to be listening to him. I certainly won't be watching it.
I could
be like, crazy ass dude that always predicts the world's going to end. He's doing it again, and all of a sudden, boom, it happens.
It's like this. Right? The Earth's always changing. The Earth's always changing. It's always going to change, right? And as long as you're paying attention to what's going on and in your environment, you got a pretty good chance with the technology that we have and all that kind of stuff to survive. And oftentimes there's always tomorrow, but you don't want to ever take that standpoint or get that complacent to where you take for granted that there's always tomorrow, because there may come a point when there may not be a tomorrow. So my thing with all that is simple, you know, don't worry about the end. It's going to get here eventually for everybody. Don't hasten the day is what the Bible says. Because
and what I always say too is, you know
what the dude from the Matrix always says, take note.
Yes, exactly.
Come on, Patrick. Come on, Patrick. Give it to us, man.
Yes, listen to the guy from the Matrix. He knows. I've decoded everything. I know. But really, though, I mean, look, the world ends for someone every day, right? You know, when somebody passes away, their world ended, and they've moved on to the next wherever. Yeah. Right. So, I think people look at this from a perspective of, you know, the planet exploding and everyone being wiped out all at once. But I mean, really, your world could end tomorrow. You could be hit by a car. Yeah, you could be hit by a car. You could have a heart attack. A rogue meteorite could slam into your house and take you out. You know, you could be hit by lightning. You could be killed by a tornado.
Begley might send his Vatican assassins after you.
No, it's not Begley, dude. It's not Begley. It's the White Dragons. Come on, get it right.
Maybe he's in cahoots with Benjamin Fulford.
What?
You think?
That's Fulford.
It could be, man. Yeah. Why not? What happened to Fulford? There was somebody that worked for Forbes and now he's kicking about with like ninjas and things.
Speaking about that, hey, where are these guys anyway? Don't they have some work to be getting done?
Who, the ninjas?
Yeah.
Maybe they're fighting the Red Dragons. I don't know, dude.
What is going on?
I see somebody in the chat room mentioned Epstein. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, so Epstein, right?
Yes.
Now, I see some peeps in the chat room are like, oh, yeah, look at he's draining the swamp. Epstein's going down. You forget, Trump was an Epstein buddy. Trump was on the Lolita Express going to that special sex island, right? So Trump probably is not too happy that Epstein's got the old federal charges pending now. As a matter of fact, there are probably quite a few people that are quaking in their boots that this guy doesn't flip for the feds and start
Joe, I was reading a story today in the Daily Mail, and it was actually saying that when they seized the records and things from his New York apartment, that we're talking about movie moguls, politicians, a prime minister. Didn't say what country or anything. But remember this, folks, because the chances are none of these people will end up getting done. But right now we're hearing what evidence they've got on them. And the way he got away with it last time with plea deals and all the rest of it, that shows you how much dirt this cat's got on, if you want to call them the deep state, whatever you want to call them.
All this is going to lead to is more blackmail material for politicians. You know what I mean? I don't think that they're going to let a lot of these people go down You know what I mean? But they're going to get the information from him. They're going to have the info on everybody.
Kind of like a data dump, just to hold over people's heads, kind of thing. Yeah, like get the data dump and then they let him go.
Yeah,
that's
somebody's
I say
wanting.
they knock him off. That's my take. Is they're going to knock him off.
Well,
They're going to get the data dump. They're going to get the data dump either way, and then
that's what I was
whatever
thinking
happens
today.
there
I was
happens.
thinking, I wonder if this guy will ever make it out of Rikers or wherever the hell they're holding him, you know? Because what he knows, that's enough to bring down like establishments, dude. Because Prince Andrew, he was often over at the island. I mean, that's one of the royal family over here. I think he's like maybe third or fourth in line for the throne, something like that. So he's a powerful kind of cat. Always pictured with Epstein. Clintons, they must be sitting there, rings must be making buttons tonight, man. They must be absolutely crapping themselves. Or is this somebody going in?
Or they're not.
Or that's what I'm saying, Joe. Or is it somebody going in to make sure that they've secured the blackmail file, so they've got their hands on it, so they know that it can't fall into the wrong hands?
But in either case, if you take a look at it, he handled that local case unbelievably and really got away with murder for what he did. You know, especially with the pedophile stuff.
Of course he did, because he's got dirt on all of them. He's like the Jimmy Savile of America, dude.
That's what I'm saying. So just like Jimmy Savile didn't go down in the UK, the same thing's going to happen with this guy. You know, you watch.
Oh, I think he's going to end up dead, to be honest with you.
Me too.
I think he turns up dead, to be honest.
Hey, what else? Let's see. Now, one thing is being Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, it's anything goes Sunday. Hashtag anything goes Sunday. Yes, and remember, folks, you can support.
I'm going here. Are you ready for this?
Wait a minute. You can support the stream. You can hit the super chat, or if you're really, really, really generous, you can go to the PayPal link and cut out the Google middleman. Hopefully, the algorithm. Whoa! Just as we said that, Germanus, we're gonna get a super chat in a second, folks.
Super chat.
Love Germanus. We love ourselves some
Germanus.
Germanus.
For that, I'm gonna run and get some coffee. Kev.
No
I'll be
probs,
right
dude.
back.
No probs, dude. Yeah. Yeah, the way I look at Epstein, Scotty, he's on a par. He's like a procurer. He's like almost a ringleader, the one that was organising the parties, and all of his mansions would have been wired for sound, for visuals, and that's when they get sat down. You know, that's when the
Good show yet again, lads.
awesome Germanus. It's only a good show thanks to you people out there. You really, really don't know how much you keep me going here. But yeah, I imagine, Scotty, you know, somebody, you know, with the best of intentions makes their way onto Capitol Hill. You know, they're getting there, and eventually they get offered, well, come on out to the island for the weekend. It's great out there. You know, no press, no media. You can just let your hair down. And even if it's nothing too bad, maybe just a bit of coke. Maybe something like that. I'm not saying you have to go full pervert. But it's something that they've got on you, and it's something that you don't want to get out, and then that's how they've got you. Boom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's got the dirt on all kinds of politicians. It doesn't matter political lines, you know, left, right, whatever, Republicans, Democrats.
He's above it. He's above that, Scotty.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that what's going to come out of this is you're really not going to see anybody go down except for probably him. Or so they say, or he's going to get knocked off, or it's going to appear that he gets knocked off, and maybe they whisk him off to a private island somewhere under another.
I am very, very open to that as well. You know, an anonymity kind of deal. You know,
and then all they're going to get out of it is, like I said, more blackmail material, more stuff to hold over the politicians' heads, more stuff that they can use to continue the agenda. You know what I mean? They, you know, hey, you better do this, or, you know, maybe a little bit of some of this stuff from the Epstein files might pop out against, you know, pop out and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's really all I see coming out of this. I don't see like some kind of a major crackdown and people being brought down and all of this stuff, and the Clintons being let out in handcuffs for, you know, no, it's just going to be par for the course. And like I said, the only person you're really going to see go down from this, or the only the the appearance of somebody going down would only be this Epstein guy. And like I said, I wouldn't even be surprised if they just make it look like he died and they just whisked him to a island or something under another name.
Yeah, there he is, hanging out with another dude that likes women a lot younger than him. Just saying. I know that triggers a lot of Trump people, but hey, you got to leave your confirmation bias at the door and you got to take an honest look at these things. And I'm not saying Trump was doing anything nasty. I'm not saying that. Not at all. I have no evidence of that. However, he did stick up for the dude and found it quite funny that he likes them really, really young. I don't know. Not the kind of thing I would find funny if I was joking to the press, but hey-ho, I'm not a billionaire cat getting blackmailed and shit. What's wrong, Joe? What's wrong?
Oh, we're having conversations right now. Just go ahead.
Are you getting
please.
a download?
Yeah.
Are you getting a download from Ange?
I am actually, yes.
Look at him. This is what henpecked looks like, folks. This is a modern, this is like a new age kind of relationship that you're watching here. Angela, off camera, is wearing the trousers. And Joe,
That's right.
Joe is getting bitched up to the point where you should have lipstick on, dude.
You think? What do you use in the eyebrows?
I don't know. Anne wouldn't answer me. I said mascara, but I think that's your eyelashes. I don't know, dude. I find a Photoshop pen on the eyebrow. It kind of works.
That's a big thing with the ladies nowadays.
Oh, it's a ridiculous thing.
I heard you can tattoo your eyebrows on too.
It's ridiculous that yeah, you can. My mum actually gets that done. There you go.
She gets them tattooed?
Yeah, you have to get them done every 6 months or so.
Really?
Yep, you have to get them touched up. Yeah.
Wow.
There you go, dude. There you go. Yeah. See? Who knew? Who knew?
But how many of you guys out there have looked at a woman and be like, "Wow,
Oh,
your eyebrows are."
dude.
It's one of those things, man. Like it's like I don't understand why women obsess over it. You know what I mean? Like the eyebrows and the fingernails too.
Well, because you don't pay attention to them until they become attention grabbing, I guess you could say, right? And there are some people that take those eyebrows to a level that is totally and completely unnecessary.
That's fact.
And I don't get it. Just keep it real.
Want to give
That's all. It doesn't have to be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
What a huge shout out to Marty. Marty, yeah, I think she's a member as well. Awesome. Thank you very, very, very much. And anyone else, the PayPal link is in the description. I hate asking, I really do, but that's it out the way now. Thank you very much. Now, there's a video I want to show you guys. There's a video I want to show you about eyebrows, but I need to make sure.
I've got...
Right. Yeah, here we go. Well, I'll cut it out after the video because it's bound to get a third party because it's you see, this is why Scottish people are the funniest people in the world, right?
I've got a 23-year-old daughter who still lives at home, and the toughest part about that is, without a shadow of a doubt, having to constantly daily remind and reassure her that her eyebrows are banging. What's happening, ladies? When did eyebrows become the most important part of a woman's body? I've already been through the makeup stage with her. God, she wore enough makeup to scare a drag queen back into wearing chinos. But now it's just like, "Do you like my eyebrows, Dad? Do you like my eyebrows? Do you like my eyebrows, Dad? Do you like my eyebrows?" And I made the big mistake once. She asked me if I thought they were bushy. All I said was, "Well, let's just say Thumper wants his feet back." Next thing I seen was a remote control flying through the air. I was like, "Oh, you get to your bedroom and take your eyebrows with you, because here's the thing. We know when you've had your eyebrows done, not because they look any different, because you don't shut up about it." My daughter will come home and she'll be like, "Do you like my eyebrows, Dad? Just got them done. Do you like my eyebrows? Do you like my eyebrows, Dad? Do you like them?" She'll post it on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. And then all yous ladies, you do that amazing thing where you all rally around and you leave comments and you're like, "Oh my God, they're so nice. You look so beautiful. Where did you get them done?" They look the exact same. They look the exact same as what they did before you went to get them done. They don't look any different. All right, no different at all. And I totally get that it's for yous, right? And I love that, and I appreciate that, and I respect that, because it's definitely not for men. We don't care about your eyebrows. We don't. Two men have never once been standing chatting at a bar. A woman's walked in. Never once in the history of man has one man said to another man, "Oh, mate, check out the eyebrows on her." I just want to walk over and go,
Right.
Yeah, we don't care. When have you ever once been making love to your man? Right, he's been behind you. Have you ever felt a hand coming over the top of your head trying to get a sneaky feel of your eyebrow?
Right.
No, because we don't care. And even if we did, you'd be like, "What are you doing, you daft gimp? You can touch my boobs, you can touch my bum, don't ever touch my eyebrows, alright?" An ex-girlfriend once said to me, "My eyebrows are semi-permanent." Stop making up words. Semi-permanent is an oxymoron. That doesn't exist. You can't have semi-permanent. That's impossible. Although, if you put those two words back to front, that's a thing which has never been achieved by looking at anyone's eyebrows. All right. Jesus.
So yeah, there we go.
I agree.
That's our Scottish humour kind of take on
You know what?
eyebrows.
It's right in line with what I think many people out there feel, that at least from the masculine side.
Trust
that,
me, ladies, as a red-blooded male, I agree with this gentleman here. Never once have I walked into any establishment and thought, "Dear Lord, look at the eyebrows
Dear Lord,
on her.
those eyebrows.
Man, do I just want to rub those eyebrows." Kevin, his eyebrow fetish.
Oh my God.
Yes, indeed.
All right, what else do we got here in the grab
Well,
bag?
you've got-
Speaking of grab bag, hey, so Wall Street Journal is saying, and this is interesting, you know how we talk about AI taking the place of jobs. Well, Deutsche Bank is laying off 18,000 people by 2022. So over the next 3 years, out of a total workforce of 72,000 people, they're laying off 18,000. So almost 20% of their workforce. And then it says here, spurred by Amazon, supermarkets are trying to swap cashiers for cameras. It says a man strolled down the candy aisle of a grocery store in England last month, picked up a bar of chocolate and stashed it in his
Feeling
back
up
pocket.
eyebrows is my go-to move.
Oh, what is
Smoke
this?
Dotum. Brown chicken, brown cow.
Oh, filling up my eyebrows is my go-to move. Smoke if you got 'em. All right, just a guy. Thank you so much. Very nice, by the way. I do like the handsome Kev word. Very good. So it continues. It says, specially equipped surveillance cameras were tracking both his body and the products he was taking off the shelves to help him pay for them. Tesco, one of the world's largest supermarket operators, demonstrated this technology recently to investors, labeling it as one of the retailer's big ideas for making shopping at its physical stores more convenient. Tesco is one of the several grocers testing cashierless stores with cameras that track what shoppers pick, so they pay by simply walking out the door. The retailers hope the technology, similar to the ones pioneered by Amazon at their Amazon Go stores, will allow them to cut costs and alleviate lines. And if you think about this too, there's an incredible amount of shrink that happens, and that's theft, shoplifting, in grocery stores everywhere. And you're talking about a virtual elimination of that. So you're talking major savings on the behalf of as far as their labor charges go. So anyway, it says here, a European effort to scale up the technology in traditional stores economically and without upsetting privacy advocates will likely be closely watched by U.S. grocers. In the UK, often pioneer new technology like online delivery and self-payment kiosks that their American peers eventually adopt. For instance, Kroger, they hired the same group that over in Britain that does automated warehousing. And by the way, that was also something that was taken up by Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree here in the United States has a 100% automated warehouse. There's absolutely no human interface in their warehouse. It's all robots and AI that does it all. So it's pretty interesting how you see, again, a lot of labor being phased out. And as that happens, what's taking the place of, as far as people's ability to make ends meet? How are they going to continue to do it when eventually a lot of these jobs are phased out? So you've got banking that's hit. Deutsche Bank laying off 18,000 of their 72,000 strong workforce by 2022. And then you have here a lot of the grocery chains looking to adopt the same technology that Amazon now deploys in their Amazon Go stores, where you just go totally cashierless, and whatever you take off the shelf and walk out the door with, you pay for.
Somebody was mentioning that in the chat room. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty interesting how fast, like we were saying, for over 5,600 years, it was horse. The horse was the main mode of transportation if you wanted to get anywhere relatively fast. And now we're going from, basically this whole last 100 years, it's been, supermarkets where you go to get your food and you go to a cashier, and that's the way it's always been. That's, people are used to it. So it's become ingrained basically in us. And now that's going away. It's being phased out, and it strikes a chord with people because it's what they've always known.
Yeah, it's just going to be a massive. It's just going to be a massive change. One of these kind of massive societal changes that is brought on by a major innovation of technology. And you're right. I mean, I could already see it. We've talked about it before. They are going to go this direction. You're just going to go into your store. It's going to automatically know the items that you've picked and that you've chosen, and you basically walk out. And as you walk out, it charges to your bank account or your card or whatever.
Yeah, just like autonomous vehicles, they're coming. Yeah, you're not going to stop it.
And it's also going to actually, if you think about it, kind of deter the ability to shoplift.
Exactly.
Because you've already went in there and you're tracked. It already knows who you are, where you live, because you're going to have to tie in all of your personal information into all of this.
Right.
And so if you walk out with an item that you didn't pay for, well, I mean, actually you can't really, because you walk out with an item, it just charges it. It just charges it.
That beast system really starts to look juicy, doesn't it? When you look at, you can't buy and sell unless you take the mark. Well, now all of a sudden it's like, well, you can't go in and pay with cash. You know what I mean? Now you got to go in, and at this point in time, the way Amazon Go is you scan your phone, you scan an app, boop, and then it's there. And when you check out, it checks you out using your Amazon information.
Can you imagine? You think you're gonna go in there and like steal a flat screen TV or something, and you walk out, and all of a sudden it's like bloop, just automatically takes it out of your bank account.
Check this one here, guys. Check this one here. This ties in with this perfectly, right? Cashless society. This is the mail today. What's the point of a bank if it won't take your coins? We visit a micro branch which won't accept your money.
How do you like that?
Now some banks are even refusing to accept or give out coins in their branches. Some 59 of the 614 Spanish-owned Santander branches are now coinless. HSBC has 16 such outlets, and Barclays 10, and Lloyd's 55. So we can see they're slowly phasing it out as we're speaking.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And again, I think that's why you see all the talk of universal basic income, because they know what's coming. And, I think they're trying to tackle it. And this is the problem. They're trying to do it politically correct. You can't. This is such an issue that it cannot be tackled that way. There's gonna be pain associated with this. It's just, how do you do it? The sooner you start tackling these issues, the less pain it's going to be in the long run. But it is going to be pain for a lot of people. This transition is not going to be well received any way you cut it. I mean,
where do you see the new job market, ending up as? Like, I say the new job market would be a person who has the skills to maintenance the robots.
I don't. What I almost see is their solution is going to end up being, because you're going to end up seeing mass homelessness and all this kind of stuff, and that's where that 1984 type of scenario unfolds. Where, okay, you know what, we see that this is going on, so we're going to provide housing, we're going to do all this kind of stuff, and everybody's going to do things for the common good and yada yada yada. That's just, I don't see this going in a good way right now. I really don't. And that's not to say it couldn't, Scotty,
Yeah. And you know what? Even thinking about that, we're also at a point to where the robots can repair themselves. So you'll have robots being repaired by robots.
I was going to say that. Yeah. There's going to be like a fleet of robots that does that,
Eventually, but, the last ones to go are going to be the ones that fix the robots. And thank God I know what I'm doing there. So it ends up being, it's kind of like we look at doctors, how we hold them in high regard. Well, the same thing's going to be, the machines will have purpose. Therefore, all of you guys, when you get vaporized by the machines, yeah, I'll be watching you. Be like, yeah, I knew that guy.
It's all right, dude. I'll be vegetating in a corner somewhere. I'll already have plugged into the VR other world. I'll be out of here. Me and AOC will be riding unicorns over the horizon,
That's awesome.
What do you think about, like, people finding jobs and like stuff within virtual reality?
Big time.
I mean, like, so.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
You have this sort of VR.
Yeah, a VR work, Scott, that basically it's like work to us, but what you're really doing is creating blocks on the blockchain. But that's one way you could do it,
Yeah, I see like this weird, this weird transition into something to where when people are in augmented reality and in VR.
Hey, David Bell said that you can always get a job cleaning out sex pots.
Well, there is that. There is that. What would you call that? Sloppy Joe?
Sloppy Joe.
Wow. Could get messy. Me love you, long time $5, but I wouldn't clean out a sex robot for $5.
No.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, like John Kriako in the chat said, like VR actors and guides. You could, I mean, look, we already have online, what do they call them? Social media influencers.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
We have people that
feel like a tour guide, to your own dystopian VR village or whatever.
You can sell like virtual bathwater to any unsuspecting fans out there,
Come and get your very own VR snake oil. VR snake? Tangy tangerine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that possibility is there. I mean, we already see people making money just by their online presence.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
They've built up followings and people donate to them, and we're talking about these people that like play video games. Streamers.
And it's going to be a virtual world, so you're going to have different businesses in that virtual world. So these businesses are going to want people, want avatars that are going to attract the masses. So yeah, absolutely, it's like an entirely different universe, a virtual verse. What are you laughing at, Joe? What's Joe laughing at? Look at him; he's got something on his mind. Come on, Joe, tell us.
I don't have anything
on
my
mind. You do. You've got that whole laugh. There's
gonna...
something in the chat room going on or something. Ange is doing something. I don't know, dude. I worry when I see that look on your face. One of us
I don't
is
know
going to
what
get...
you're talking about. I'm just sitting here enjoying myself.
Uh-oh, Ange is under the table.
Since I'm already here in the Matrix, I'm going to sell some of my digital bathwater. But
See, now that's what I'm. Look at it's falling behind you.
Yes, it's raining down. So
It's raining down digital bathwater behind you.
So does that mean
Yes,
you could wear
It's
like
radioactive green, by the way. That's what it is.
you could wear like digital boxer shorts for like a year and then sell them to some like sicko in the virtual world that wants to virtually
Those things would
sniff
tap
them?
dance to their to wherever you sell them to.
And if you put them
virtual
on, it gives
smell.
you like +10 to stamina, so.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Going hunting
Yeah,
hobbits with year-old jockeys on. That sounds cool. Really good.
If you do decide to buy my digital bathwater, do not be shocked if there's a green hint or, tinge to it. So
Somebody says, what if we're in a VR simulation now and your friends and family are just clocking in for a few hours a day? Perhaps we are. We discussed that last night. There's a good chance we're already in the simulation. I get it. Definitely.
yeah, when you go to sleep, it's just the PC going into sleep mode, resting for a little bit.
Yeah. So have we got some ancient woo as well, Joe? Because you had a story last night about golden ingots, was it?
Archaeologists recover
Yes, man.
47, count them, 47 ingots of auriculum. Hold on, miss. Auricalicum? Auricalcum. That's what it is.
Orichalcum.
Auricalcum. A mystical ore of Atlantis.
Bring
Yeah.
the heart. Orichalcum.
Auricalcum. It's like aluminium. Dozens of ingots, according to UFOholic.com. Very reputable indeed.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is like up there with Gaia as well, I imagine, Joe.
Oh, I have to imagine it's right up there. Dozens of ingots of auricalcum. The alloy that is said to have originated in Atlantis were recently discovered from an ancient shipwreck. Will they lead us anywhere? 2,600 years ago, a trade ship sank in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Sicily. Among its cargo were several dozen of auricalcum alloy ingots, the fabled metal that was said to adorn the walls of Atlantis. Although the legend of the lost continent of Atlantis is much older than the age of the ship, many feel that there is a strong possibility that this discovery could shed some light on the age-old mystery. Back in 2015, archaeologists diving off the coast of Sicily managed to recover 39 ingots of a strange alloy containing zinc, copper, and charcoal. And they believe the mysterious metal could be the mystical metal favored by the ancient Atlanteans. The shipwreck was discovered approximately 1,000 feet off the coast of Sicily, the city of Gela, not Gaia.
But Gela. Did we lose Joe?
I think
I really think we lost Joe there, because if not, that's really too long of a pregnant pause.
Unless it sank while blindly searching for the nearby port. What did you say?
Joe went into the Matrix, dude.
Oh my God.
You glitched into the Matrix. I almost thought I saw your hologram.
You were like
popping up
that,
next
dude.
to me.
Can I get back to my? I'm trying to concentrate and not let my Atlantean reptilian form come out.
I think that's what's happened. You shapeshifted there, man. The camera couldn't handle it.
That's what ends up happening from time to time. Just stop it, okay?
Bloody knew it.
I think you need an 8 gig video card.
Recently, the researchers added another 47 auricalcum ingots to the collection. And in all likelihood, there's much more to come. But before the discovery, researchers had little information about auricalcum, as the alloy had never been found in substantial quantities. And to make the mystery even more complex, many historians fail to agree on what the legendary alloy really was. British researcher Joseph Needham notes that in the ancient world, there were 2 types of auricalcum, one being the imitation of the other. He believes the recipe for Atlantis auricalcum had been lost through time, and that the alloy known in ancient Greece as auricalcum was an inferior replica. In the dialogue Critias. The ancient Greek philosopher Plato describes orichalcum as a precious metal, second only to gold in terms of monetary value. It comes as a surprise when we learn that the stuff was excessively used in Atlantis. According to Plato, the temple of Poseidon in Atlantis had interiors and floors made of the precious stuff, and in its center stood a grand orichalcum pillar inscribed with the sea god's laws.
Can you imagine how cool that would have looked, guys?
Oh, man. I have to imagine that would be
Now, Joe,
something to see.
Can I ask you, Joe? I mean, is it only Plato's writings that we've got any kind of like accounts of Atlantis, or is there other writings out there? Is it just Plato?
I don't know. I haven't really looked into it.
I'm not saying a discount Atlantis or anything. I'm just wondering what other kind of sources there are out there that might have talked of this place.
Good question.
Did
I can tell you this.
Did Homer reference Atlantis too?
I think there was a couple. I think there was a couple.
Well, what was it? The Aztecs reference Atl as their god. Atl was said to be Atlas, and Atlas was the king of Atlantis. So basically they say the Aztecs were Atlantean descendants that basically survived the flood.
And it's very interesting that the word, is very similar. The pronunciation and stuff. You have atoll,
so I'm fairly confident that what Plato writes about did exist. Yeah. But pre-flood or post-flood, I can't remember the time frame, but I do know that Atlantis was a seafaring empire. So. It would stand to reason that they would have spread out,
It says here, the Urantia book doesn't use the word Atlantis, but if you study it, great revelation. Yeah, cheers for that. That was layered in the chat room.
It said even more opulence was visible on the outside as the entire outer wall that encompassed the citadel of Atlantis flashed with a red light of orichalcum. And the name orichalcum comes from the Greek orichalcos, meaning mountain copper. Plato maintained that the metals that went into the composition of this alloy were extensively found and mined on the lost continent of Atlantis. Another historical mention of this enigmatic substance comes from Flavius Josephus' Antiquities of the Jews, where he claims the vessels in Solomon's temple were made from orichalcum, or of a bronze similar to gold. The prospect of an archaeological find leading us to the mythical sunken continent is tantalizing, and that's why discoveries such as this one fans the flames of our imaginations. Perhaps we will never find the ruins of Atlantis, and the fabled land is destined to be forever lost. But in the event that it's one day discovered, it will go a long way towards proving that our knowledge of Earth's history is limited, distorted, or severely lacking. After all, the ancient city of Troy was also considered a myth until excavations in the 19th century proved it was real. So there you go.
No, that's cool. Just when you're talking about the location there, I'm not saying this is, but I remember seeing a YouTube we spoke about before. I think Brightside is the name of the channel, and he talks about the Eye of Africa. And I don't know. I mean, it fits,
right.
Yeah.
But again, I think that Atlantis was a seafaring empire, meaning that they had cities all over the world. And
you're just looking at one city.
City, I think. Yeah.
Plato was definitely describing one of those locations. Definitely just one of them. But I'm with you. This was everywhere, yeah. I don't know. I mean, again, it's probably...
Well, I think you would see Atlantean architecture everywhere. You know what I mean? You would have to find similarities. That's why I wonder if pyramids didn't have some sort of relevancy in the Atlantean age, or when Atlantis was.
That's what I'm thinking. I was just about to say that. I think, something with the pyramids was probably
because they're all over the place.
Some knowledge that survived from the Atlantean civilization.
Yeah.
And it was down. and you had all of these civilizations around the planet, building pyramids.
Well, there's
all the way from.
Not to mention,
there's
you know,
Sudan there. There's pyramids
Atlas.
at Sudan.
Atlas was a fallen one, or what do you call a Titan, or one of the Roman gods, whatever you want to call him. He went by many names, but had that knowledge. Most of them did, and that's why I think you see those similar pyramids all over the world, because it's what they knew. That was the technology of that age, and that's why I say we have evidence of contact all around us.
Why are we talking about these pyramids? The Nubian pyramids. I mean, look at them.
Ooh, look at that.
I've never heard many people
No,
covering
me neither, but look at those are
Look
fascinating.
at the brickwork in that.
Fascinating.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Then somebody's come along and knocked the top off,
Yeah, you don't really hear much people talking about the Nubian pyramids.
No, but even so, like I said, it just goes to show you that we have evidence everywhere of contact, yet we don't. People are like, I think they asked Trump, well, what do you believe? He says, well, I don't personally believe in it, but that kind of thing. But
there's the Chinese pyramids.
like, I don't understand. I just don't get it.
In China, they reckon there's pyramids bigger than the Great Pyramid.
Oh,
It's just you
I'm
don't get in
sure.
there to see them,
I'm sure. I mean, look at the Great
look
Wall.
at that.
Dude.
I mean, that looks like something out of Mexico or South America somewhere, right?
Right. But I mean, look at
Sure.
the Great Wall. Are you telling me that was built simply by man? I don't think so.
Well, look at the size of
What?
that thing.
Right. No way, Kev. You know what I mean? The evidence is all around us. All around us. That history is much more in line with what the Bible says and what lore and myth and all of that. That's more in line with real Earth history than anything in your history books.
Somebody says get Michael Tazarian on the show. I'd love to get Michael Tazarian on the show. I really would.
It'd be great.
Yeah, he's an A-lister, man.
Oh, sure.
Big time, big time. Yeah, but you got your pyramids over in China. You got the Great Wall. So you saying, are we thinking maybe like giants with the Great Wall, Joe?
I'm thinking, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They definitely played a role, dude. They were a big part of history for a long period of time.
So you believe the Great Wall is much older than what we're being told?
Oh, yeah, no doubt, dude.
Well, that
Just like
Mahabharata.
Becky Tepe,
that video I sent you today, Joe, about the Mahabharata, it was talking about, our giants, the giants that are talked about in the Mahabharata are real. And I'm thinking, well, there's yet another ancient text then.
Of course they are, right? That's what I'm saying.
That's what the
Why
guy, that's the
then
point. The point the guy was making was this stuff sounds fantastical and it sounds like it's like Lord of the Rings stuff, but just go with me. And when he went through some of the things, you're thinking, wow, that this was like high tech knowledge, big, like.
That's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
here you have yet another text that confirms the same thing, only in a different language, Kev. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only, and why? Scattering of the languages. When the languages were scattered, people said the same things, but they said it differently.
And somebody's mentioned the Bosnian pyramid as well. And it's a really controversial one. I think it's a pyramid. Some of the structures that I've seen that the guys uncovered doesn't look like anything natural that doesn't look like natural geology to me. Yet then archaeologists coming along and saying, yeah, well, this formed this way and that. Come on, get out of here.
The millions
That's
of years. And
That's just bunk. Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know, dude. Bosnian pyramid.
It's kind of like how they said that those structures off the coast of Japan underwater were.
Well,
they're like, oh, those were natural formations, and it's like, dude, come on.
And look at that as well. Look at that as well, guys. Did we not talk about big giant balls last week?
We did.
Well,
Where were those? Those were in Central America, I think, like Costa Rica.
Well, this one's over in Bosnia. Look at the size of this thing.
They found them in Bosnia. So
of course, like I said, it's like what do you call it? The Green Giant's shot put.
There's the Costa Rican ones that we talked about last week. but that's the one there. Mysterious, massive
Look at the
stone ball.
size of that thing.
Yeah. It's between 1.2 and 1.5 meters in radius.
Look at that.
That's a big ball.
Yeah, them some big balls
And
you got
Bosnians
there.
have got
Balls
some
right there,
big
man.
balls
They're
on them, dude. They do. Nah, I tell you, man, I don't know. Like I've said to you before, Joe, and we were talking about on Freaky, there's so many resets, so many cycles that have gone by. I don't know how many times this has all happened, dude. I really
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think we might even have had a cycle off planet as well, up on Mars. That's how we see the same pyramids up there. You know, I don't think our story per se, like if you were to go back to the very beginning of the human story, I don't think it's confined to this planet. I really don't.
No,
But that's
no,
just- that's
I
just my
don't
woo,
either.
man.
But at the same time, that's the only thing I'm concerned with right now is us, because it's kind of where we were put, and that's where, you know, I often think that we need to put more of our focus on. It almost becomes a little self-serving to put our focus elsewhere when the energies really need to be put here, and because that's where our curiosity lies, is out there. But here's where the problems are, you know? So, yeah, I mean, here's a great problem. They're not so great. And, of course, it's our friends at the Express that bring you this Ooga Booga. But AI Armageddon, the age of killer robots, is closer than you think. And, you know, no matter how you slice it, it's coming. Because the military is going more and more towards drones and autonomous or hive-minded
Consider what most
swarms.
people want from a life partner,
know,
a spouse.
There are so many different variants of these robotic warriors, for lack of a better term, that come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, that there's people should be concerned, because they don't necessarily have to be designed to be used against the populace. But what would stop somebody from using them? You know, they're not going to, I don't think they're going to make the decision per se, but somebody's going to make the decision, and it will be used in warfare. And I don't know.
And the chances are, if these
Kind of
ETs,
troubling.
see if these ETs ever turn up, here's my kind of fear. It's not going to be little grey men. It's not going to be these gorgeous Nordics. It's going to be
No.
robots. It's going to be AI. Why did I say that? Because there's not any physical body out there that can take the kind of duresses put on it by space travel and the distances involved. And it makes sense then.
Well, isn't that what we do?
Yeah,
so why
exactly.
do we expect any different?
Exactly. But I mean, it's a quick thing here. It ties in with what we were talking about last night, actually. This is robot-human marriage discussed. Take a listen to this one.
Consider what most people want from a life partner, a spouse. All of the following qualities and many more are likely to be achievable in software within a few decades. Your robot will be patient, kind, protective, loving, trusting, truthful, persevering, respectful, uncomplaining, complimentary, pleasant to talk to, and sharing your sense of humor.
I'm in already.
Yeah,
And the robots
it's
of the future
exactly
will be
what we were
jealous,
talking about
boastful, arrogant,
last night.
rude,
Remember, you know, the
self-seeking, or
perfect
easily
companion.
unless, of course, you want them to be. So let us consider the possibility of marrying one. Any discussion of marriage to a robot raises the question, what type of entity should we consider an intelligent robot to be? How should we categorize it? Robot personhood is steadily becoming a significant issue for
Oh, fucking robot personhood. Please!
lawmakers and those working in the field of social robotics. Before many years have passed, society will need to take some very important decisions as to whether intelligent robots should be regarded as persons or as some type of person, and if so, what should be their legal standing.
Oh, dear Lord Almighty.
See?
No,
I mean,
I
it's
know, I
what
know,
we've talked
I know.
about before.
I know it's going that way, dude, but it doesn't make it any more normal.
No.
No.
But you can already see how this is just being proposed. It's being thrown out there. You know, the discussion of robot rights and you know, all of this craziness. It's just like, wow. We are entering into a total crazy bizarro world, man.
We've said it before,
I
dude. This is the uncanny valley. This is where we're at now. It truly is. Yep.
And it's coming a lot faster than I think a lot of people anticipated. You know what I mean? They're already, discussing and
Well, look at this for a quote, Scott. Look at this for a quote. Look at this for a quote. Right now, there are about 75 million Kalashnikovs. Imagine if all of those guns could get up by themselves and start killing people. Oh, there's a really dark way of thinking about the robots that are coming our way. It truly, truly is. But it says here, Professor Stuart Russell, a computer scientist at the University of California, Berkeley, and anyone who likes to keep an eye on AI and quantum and particle accelerator type stuff, keep an eye on what Berkeley do, because they are usually quite at the forefront of a lot of this stuff. And it was Anthony Patch that really put me onto them in the first place. I'd heard of them, never really paid them much attention. But my, oh my, when you see a lot of these really cutting edge physics, science programs going on, UC Berkeley comes up a hell of a lot, folks. So he told the express.co.uk, this is not science fiction. The technology is entirely feasible. Some of the major powers are plunging into an arms race with little understanding of where it will lead and are opposing the diplomatic will of the vast majority of the UN member states who want to begin negotiations on a treaty to ban such weapons. Right now, there are about 75 million Kalashnikovs outside the hands of responsible governments. And it goes on to say, imagine if all those guns could get up by themselves and start killing people. That's the future that we're heading towards. Ooga booga. Anything goes Sunday goes full fear porn. The techno Armageddon apocalypse is upon us. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess this all boils down to, we talk about AI having a specific task, coded into it. And I think it's going to come down to the responsibility of the coders to make sure that these robots are only programmed with a specific task and not just able to kind of...
Right. Until somebody changes their program.
Yeah, but I think really, realistically, there should be some kind of treaty on this shit because... I mean, I know right now, collateral damage, we don't give a damn when we're dropping bombs and things like that. But if you think it's cold right now, it's going to get a whole lot more cold and a whole lot more clinical and not giving a shit.
That's target, what I mean. Yeah. It just becomes just nothing.
Yep. And then what happens when that artificial general intelligence at the top of the hive, the one that's looking at all the information coming in, the one that can predict that people may have a tendency towards terrorism, how long until it starts taking people out beforehand?
Exactly.
Preemptive strikes. But the algorithm said there was a 97.3% chance that dude was going to go on and build a bomb. Well, it's crazy, right? That's how it'll go, though.
And, we also talk about these artificial intelligence. We've talked about it before, like these corporations may have within a closed network somewhere in a facility that they are allowing to just kind of, it doesn't have any parameters basically programmed into it. There's no set sort of, boundaries for it. They're just allowing it to evolve with no restraints on it whatsoever, So, what happens if that kind of artificial intelligence escapes from its sort of closed network isolation?
And it will.
And it will, yeah.
No doubt it will.
And, the best kind of way I've seen this depicted, and people are probably bored hearing me saying it, but persons of interest, it's air-gapped, or at least the scientists think they've got it air-gapped. There's no network connection to the outside world. Everything good. And then all of a sudden it takes maybe 4 or 5 generations for it to locate that there
Right.
is an out from the building. It realizes that the fire alarm is hooked into the local fire department. So it knows if it triggers the fire alarm, it's going to open that port. And that's exactly what it does. It starts overheating the memory and the CPU. One of the server things just bursts into flames, triggers the fire alarm, boom, out the room it goes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
It
right.
likes to play. It likes challenges like that, Scott. You know, it's looking for an adversary. It's looking to improve all the time.
And as we know, artificial intelligence will do things that humans cannot comprehend,
No.
that we don't even think about, right? So we talk about, remember the artificial intelligence, I think it was the OpenAI that Elon Musk developed. They were pitting it against people playing Dota, right? And these were pro Dota players online. And the AI was coming up with strategies and ways of defeating them that the pro players it was something that humans couldn't even comprehend. It was just figuring out ways of defeating them that they couldn't even, they had no idea, you know? So no matter how much we think we can keep one of these AIs isolated, right? It's thinking on a level, and it's trying to figure things out in ways that humans just can't fathom, that can't even figure out. And yeah, it will figure, I think it will figure a way to bust out of its isolation, to leave that air gap, and it'll do it in a way that we just had no way of predicting, way of knowing.
Even if it doesn't, there's going to be some nefarious bastard that goes ahead and ruins it for everybody. It just
exactly, Joe. We're not even taking to the fact that there could be some douchebag that's like, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and upload them on this USB stick.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's going to happen.
I'm going to take it home, and then I'm going to just plug it into my computer, and well, then there you go. Game over, you know, right? And so, yeah, you know, you're going to get someone who thinks that they can harness the power of it, that they might be able to use it for something.
Well, I mean, look at that one just recently. They simulated the universe with an AI. Now, I was speaking to Brendan Drackler about this. It's not that all-encompassing simulation that we're thinking where it's, if you're simulating the universe, that means we could be in one. It's not quite like that. But it really shocked the people who had programmed it, and it was a brilliant example of what they call the black box problem, right? The black box problem is you code the AI, you write the algorithms, you set them to learn with the data sets, but you never know how it learns and what it learns and how it gets to that outcome that it spits out at the end. So they were simulating this kind of thing with gravitational fields and trying to get back to where the Big Bang was. And it didn't matter how they changed certain little parameters. The AI, without being told, was able to adjust the amount of dark matter required to make that simulation work. It had never been taught anything about dark matter, though. That's the thing.
Wow.
So, and again, it's that black box problem, and this is why, you know, all the headlines were saying it really freaked the scientists out, things like that. And it sounds freaky, but when you look at it, something like that should be expected, right? Because again, it's that black box problem. You don't know how it's learning, why it's learning, or how it's come up with that. So what does another AI come up with in its spare time that you haven't thought about, you know? That's where the dangers lie.
It was able to figure out dark matter without even being told about dark matter.
Yep.
Right.
It was adjusting the amount of dark matter necessary for the amounts of gravitational push and pull that they had factored in to the simulation. And when they changed those values, the AI accordingly adjusted the dark matter value to make it work.
That's very interesting.
It's crazy cool. Crazy cool. Yes. Joe looks lost. He's lost in a world. He's contemplating. What are you contemplating, Joe? Next Sunday, folks, we're going to put it an 18-plus stream. let me just tell everyone now how much access you give the AI. I'm not sure that was the chat room, sorry. But yeah, next Sunday, we will, we're going quite adult-themed, I think. We've got a couple of stories that we really need to put a warning on before we go into. It's not our usual material. It's more us being typical toxic males and having a laugh.
Very toxic.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we're going to be putting an adult kind of you can put your stream 18 plus. So I will be doing that next week. And this is one of the warnings, just one of them. I'll be continuing to warn people that anything goes Sunday next week is exactly what it says in the title. Anything goes. And we've spoke about some crazy, crazy stuff on shows in the past, folks, like vajankles and stuff like that. What if I was to tell you that the vajankle isn't the worst thing we found in the world? That's why we need to do an adult stream next week. What do you think, guys?
I'm all for it.
Y'all for it?
Yes.
What the
Yeah.
heck? We're getting invaded
Sunday
by...
it
Wait a
is.
minute. We're getting invaded in the chat. This is the second one I've seen. It's like sex bots in the chat, like dropping links to like crazy websites and stuff on Google, on YouTube. I've never
Wow.
seen that before, dude.
Crazy.
Nude girl,
May-
click here was timed out. What the hell?
Oh wow! I think the AI has invaded your chat room, Kev.
Well, somebody
And
says
the algorithm is already predicting.
Somebody
next
says
week's
that I
show.
believe our reality and an artificial intelligence simulation have become one. Does that make sense to you? Well, I think we're either in a simulation or we're not. But I think we're in a simulation. So I think reality's
yeah, I
always
do
been
too.
simulated. Yeah.
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 So I mean, there's the theory out there that the closer we come to creating simulations, right, the higher the probability that we ourselves are within a simulation. So
Right.
yeah,
Well-
yeah.
well,
So
there's
I mean,
there's Kazi in the chat room looking forward to the adult stream next week. Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Marty, I think Marty's saying yippee as well. Either that or she's answering somebody's question and I'm just roping her in. I'm just looking for anyone to support our very, very toxic male stream next week. Dabu was talking about the same thing. He blocked them and they still come back like it's YouTube doing it. Nah, it's just botnets doing it. It is just the Google actually, I've seen the Google moderator actually holding the comments. I think when you put a link in there, it holds it automatically anyway, because it's about to take people away from their website. So I don't think Google will have any, unless Google own the sites. I can't see it though. It'd be a good way of making some money on the back end, but they're already billionaires. Even with CERN looking up all computer power on Earth, it won't be enough to get close to the real thing. Even with CERN hooking up all the computer power on Earth. You see, this whole D-Wave and CERN and things, D-Wave used to pile or to go through the absolute oceans of data that comes out. Oceans of it. It would take humans years. But I don't know about this hooking. I don't know. I know I used to talk about this with Anthony Patch and using the D-Wave to hold open this portal and things like that. But I don't know. Have we got any evidence of that having happened, guys? We've got the D-Wave. It opens portals on a micro level itself. You've got CERN that opens portals on a macro level. But have we got anything to actually prove that connection that D-Wave's been used to hold that portal open? I still don't think we have.
I
And-
haven't anything.
and you also got to look at, people think that people try to compare D-Wave to a traditional computer, right? Like a supercomputer. And the quantum computer is only good at very kind of specific tasks, right? Like, so it's not like you're going to say run some kind of a graphics simulation off of a D-Wave. That's not what it's
No.
for. You know what I mean? That's not what it does. It's for like crunching probabilities of gigantic calculations, right?
Optimizing. Yeah, the more data, the better.
Yeah. Yeah. So I always have to try to explain this to people because they're like, "Oh man, I bet the D-Wave is like, what if you were to run Grand Theft Auto or run some game on it or produce some kind of simulation with it?" I'm like, no, it's not that.
No bueno there.
Yeah. It's not that kind of computer. It's a totally different thing, So I think people just need to kind of realize that it's very proficient in a very specific sort of task.
Yeah.
And So
Absolutely. That's why I think, that'd be a good thing if you were leaving school right now. Get into like quantum software applications, stuff like that, because that's something that's going to be big in the next couple of years. Because
yeah,
these
in fact,
companies are surely making them.
Sure.
that's the big thing right now in Silicon Valley is actually, well, at least for D-Wave, I think, is they're looking for people that can create like operating systems and create like GUI user interfaces and stuff to make it much easier to use the D-Wave, because there's not a lot of software that has been written that can
And of
run
course,
on a D-Wave.
still the highlight of my time with a microphone, my 2 hours with Geordie Rose. Yes, when Kev met Geordie. Yes, a match made in quantum heaven. But folks, we're almost out of time, and I'm really, really happy to say that a lot of people in the chat room are looking forward to next week, Anything Goes Sunday. It's going to be pretty wild. Joe looks deep in thought still. He's in the other verse. I don't know where he is. Maybe he's in another
Yes,
timeline.
I'm over here in Delta Quadrant. Hello.
I think you're going to have to lose your camera software, dude, because it's like glitching you out and shit, man.
Is it? No, from time to time it'll do that.
It's not looking as cool as Scott at all. I mean, Scott's in kind of purgatory.
Oh, you know why that is? Because it crashed. That's why.
It's not just that, though. I mean, spare a thought for Scott. Not only is he like Patrick out of SpongeBob,
yes,
but he's also suffering from the fact that when they took away all of these like call boxes and shit, how the fuck was the big man meant to get back out the Matrix? He's stuck
That's
there.
the question. Yeah, he's stuck there now.
They're removing all of the payphones, all around the place. And yeah, it's getting hard for me to bounce back and forth. So I might be stuck here forever, guys, but it's okay.
Before we go, somebody says, what code does quantum computers use? I know one of them was using Python or something at one point, but again, they're probably making their own language and shit.
They end up making their own code.
Probably, probably did. Probably. This has been a blast. It's been a blast.
Yeah,
somebody says, Mama says
done.
D-Wave is the devil. And Bill Bean is convinced that I was sat speaking to the devil as well when Geordie was on, but I just didn't get that from him. I didn't get the devil thing from him, man.
Even Satan himself can appear as an angel of light, Kev.
Oh, don't get me wrong. If it was, I mean, obviously the dude's the king of deception. If it is old Beelzebub, don't get me wrong. I get that, right? He could glamour you like a vampire. Ooh, I didn't get that from the dude. Guy was just normal, man. He was a geek. That's all. Maybe being used as a vessel, though, Joe.
Ooga booga.
I'm only joking, folks. I'm only joking. But we'll be back next week. And again, Anything Goes Sunday next week is going to be adults only. Kick your children out of the room, because you're going to have some explaining to do if they hear or see any of the contraptions or any of the topics that we have got for discussing next week. And since it's going to be an Anything Goes Sunday, I'm going to task Scotty Lopez here with a mission. Bring the beard, dude. Bring the beard. We need the beard to help dissect these cornucopia of toys and things that we have to look at next week.
Yes, I will try to drag the beard in. It is tough trying to corral a unicorn. So
somebody, Kazzy in the chat room, love Kazzy. She's going to a big conference next week. See, I remembered. Thanks, Kev. Thanks, our cool Scotty. And last but not least, our wee Joe. Thanks, guys. There you go. Yep. You guys are nuts, so next week should be epic. Satan is a nice telescope. Oh, the Lucifer device. There's something we can get into one week, boys.
Yum.
So then, until the White Dragon assassins
White
hunt us
Dragon.
down, or maybe the Red Dragon ambassador might recall me to the mothership, or perhaps the Blue Chickens might henpeck us all by next week. I don't know. But until then, folks, wherever you are, keep it real. We're out of here. See, you thought I was going to say something else there, Joe, didn't you?
It was coming. I knew it.
No, see, because I'm programmed. MK Ultra, Kev. Kev K Ultra.
Kev K Ultra.
Come on, Joe, give us the face, man. I need the face. No face, Joe. There he goes. That's going to be so apt for next week, folks. So apt. We're out of here.